Publication Forms and Records, Title 14, Overview, Module 1, Lesson 1. Introducing the Federal Aviation Regulations, Title 14 of the Code of Federal Regulations. There are 68 regulations separated into 3 different categories, the first being administrative, the second being airworthiness certification, and the third being airworthiness operation. Introducing Federal Aviation Regulations. These regulations have been referred to as the FARs since 1958. To reduce confusion, we refer to specific regulations with the term 14 CFR Part, and then we go on and say Part 1, Part 3, Part 5. The reason we do that is because FARs could have a different meaning, so we want to make sure we're specifically referring to Federal Aviation Regulations. The FARs that were transferred from the original CARS, Civil Aviation Regulations, are all odd numbers. So when you're looking at a FAR and you see a new edition, you're going to notice that the new editions are even numbers, and the ones that were transferred from the original CARS are odd numbers. A little bit of historical background. We start off in 1903. The modern age of powered flight begins in 1903 with Orville and Wilbur's first sustained flight. Actually, it was the first controlled flight where they could actually control the aircraft. Then in 1925, the Mail Act facilitated the creation of a profitable commercial airline industry, so we began. 1926, the Air Commerce Act of 1926 passed as a result of the growing commercial airline industry. Then in 1938, the Civil Aeronautics Act was added. This added again new aviation regulations. Aviation was starting to grow and we needed to have it regulated to keep it safe. And then in 1958, the Federal Aviation Act created the Federal Aviation Administration. Special Federal Aviation Regulations, commonly referred to as SFARs. They're focused on unique situations. They're going to take effect for a limited length of time, and their numbering is going to be sequential. It'll be a 1 or a 2 or a 5. The examples that we have in the book, they start off with 13, then they go to 107. For example, a number 60 or a dash 60 would be Air Traffic Control System Emergency Operation. Or a dash 106 is going to be a rule for use for portable oxygen on board the aircraft. Again, focused on unique situations, and the numbering system is going to be sequential, so you're not going to be able to follow the number and expect to find it attached to anything specific. Airworthiness Certification, 14 CFR Part 3, General Requirements. They're going to include 2 important definitions, the first of which, and you'll hear this throughout your career, is airworthy. This means the aircraft is going to conform to its type design, and it's going to be in a condition safe for operation. We haven't added to it, we haven't made it better than it was, we've made it back to its type design. The second term is product. What is a product? Well, that could be the aircraft, it could be the engine, or it could be the propeller that's installed on the engine that's installed on the aircraft. So what are the big 3? What are the 3 primary regulations that are going to govern the aircraft or the aircraft's airworthiness? The first of which is Part 21, Certification Procedures for Products and Parts. The second is going to be Part 43, Maintenance, Preventative Maintenance, Rebuilding and Alterations. And the last, certainly not the least, is Part 91, General Operating and Flight Rules. So let's review what we just talked about. The aviation industry has been formally regulated for almost 100 years. The regulations that govern today's aircraft are going to be found in Title 14 of the Code of Federal Regulations, commonly referred to as 14 CFR. There are 68 regulations divided into 3 categories. The first is administrative, the second is airworthiness certification, and the last but not least is airworthiness operation. We looked at some terms. To be airworthy, an aircraft must conform to its type design and in a condition for safe flight. The product, on the other hand, is going to discuss the aircraft, or the engine, or the aircraft propeller. The big three regulations governing airworthiness of an aircraft are going to include Part 21, the certification procedures for products and parts. Part 43, maintenance, preventative maintenance, rebuilding and alterations. And last but not least, Part 91, general operating and flight rules.